Rangapati class.
Hariom Bhaskar ji.
Hariom, Hariom. Just give me 1 second. I'm setting up the YouTube screen. And good. Hariom. अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतं परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा या श्रद्धा धारणा मेधा वाग्देवी विधिवल्लभा भक्तजिह्वाग्रसदना क्षमादिगुणदायिनी मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानम् परिशिष्टान्ते वसदृशिकणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम् स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातराजुहाव प्रीति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः सर्वभूतहृदयं मानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् व्याप्तं जगत्येन चिदात्मभावात् रज्ज्वा यथा चराचरं यत् अन्यस्य सर्वं च सदात्मभावे स्वयं समस्तं च बभूवयस्तु निस्सङ्गनिर्मुक्तिपदं प्रपद्य ब्रह्मात्मभावेन विराजितो यः श्रीसौम्यकाशीश महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वाहा समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं वन्दे तेजोमयं नित्यं ज्ञानप्रभाकरं यस्यैककिरणादेव नष्टा विद्यातम् जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निदस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्म प्रोज्झित कैटवोऽत्र परमो मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मुखम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते पापरैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते प्रकृतिभिः ऋषुभिस्तक्षणात् गमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखाद् अमृतद्रवसंयुतम् पिबत भागवतं रसमालयम् रसिकाः भावुकाः वंशीविभूषितकरार्णवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरादरुणबिम्बफलादर्मुष्कात् इन्दुसुन्दरमुखादरविन्दनेत्रात् नात् परं किमु नमः परमहंसास्वादितचरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानसनिवासाय निर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च तनून्नत्स्म। After a long time, I've been able to do the Mangala Charanam in a leisurely, relaxed way. Feels so good. It makes a big difference. Excuse me, just 1 second. Right. Sorry, I apologize for that. Moment I get confident that everything is going well, then immediately Bhagavan has to take. So we had begun studying the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are a few minutes ahead, so I'm going to do a quick recap so that as people join in, then they won't be left. The theme of the first canto was Adhikari, the ideal student. Second canto was Sadhana, the teaching on how to practice. And then now this third canto is about Sarga, or creation. And we saw that in this, the teacher and student who have come together are Maitreya Rishi and Sri Vidura. And Vidurji asked a number of questions with the intention that, a conversation should be started in which Bhagavan's glory is described, Atma Vidya is described. Now, those questions he structured around how does Bhagavan create the world, how does he sustain the world, what all avatars does he take, what are the leelas in those avatars, etc. So Maitreya Rishi began by saying that in the beginning there was nothing, there was only Paramatma was there, and he was alone, one without a second, and then something called Maya made its appearance, and then together they gave rise to Mahat Tattva, then from that Ahankara, then that Ahankara divided into Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic aspects, and from these the Devatas, the Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, the Panchamahabhutas, this whole world, the basic building block arose. Also the Antahkarana, the mind, intellect. Now, as he's describing all this, Maitreya Rishi, Vidurji had a very good question. He said, see, under no circumstances does it make sense for there to be anything called creation possible. First of all, let us examine the possibilities. Okay. If we say that Bhagavan created the, then from what did he create? Something other than himself? But Bhagavan is one without a second, so there's nothing other than himself. Did he divide? He's indivisible. How can he divide? If he divides, then it will become two. Right? So that also is not possible. Did he himself transform into the world? That Bhagavan is unchanging, how can he transform? And all these processes, whether it is creation or transformation or splitting or whatever you think about, has to be within the realm of time. That in one time he was at Bhagavan as Bhagavan, then slowly that change happened, and that Bhagavan became the world in whatever method. But time itself is part of the world, is part of creation. Bhagavan is Kalatita, changeless, beyond time. Why? Because Bhagavan is existence, pure existence. Existence by necessity cannot be a changing object. Because what can it change into? If existence changes, it can only become non-existence. And then we'd again be at the ridiculous situation of saying non-existence exists. Now, can we say non-existence exists? For that also some existence is required. Therefore, existence cannot change. Confusing? Right? Hair splitting, you feel like, Maitreya Rishi says that is correct. Very good. You have asked the right question. You have reached the correct level of confusion. Because fact of the matter is, you are right. Creation is not possible. There is no creation at all. Yet we see it around us, so we can't deny that it is that it doesn't exist. The appearance, at least, is there. So that's where a very, very powerful shloka is. Let me just put it up the cleanness. So Maitreya Uvacha. Heyam bhagavato maya yenna yena virudyate ishwarasya vimuktasya karpanyamuta bandhanam. Maitreya Rishi says, it's confusing you. It is making you feel totally out of your depth. It makes you think, why did I not just quietly watch IPL or something else instead of coming for Bhagavatam and getting my head totally whisked like this? He says, that is Maya. That which totally defies all logic. Yan nayena virudhyate. No logic is possible for the existence of Maya. Because we can't say it is something other than Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is infinite. We can't say it is a part of Bhagavan because Bhagavan is beyond all division, but totally one without a second. We cannot say it is a creation of Bhagavan, as we have discussed. So the existence of Maya is impossible, yet it is there. So it defies logic. That is Maya. That's why the Vedas say, Yama sa Maya. That which is not is Maya. And yet it appears. Right? We saw in Chatushloki Bhagavatam also that which hides the reality and projects an apparently real world on top of it. That is Maya. And because of that, then we say that, oh, I'm bound and I'm suffering and I'm limited and all that. But we are actually that Bhagavan only. And that Bhagavan is sitting and suffering in that Maya. It appears. How can it be? That is Maya. You can't ask. But also when we say Yan Nayena Virudhyate, the important thing is, if you follow the train of thought, then the only logical conclusion is, yes, there is no Maya. Therefore, there is no creation. There is no world. All this is only a projection of the mind. What is really there, that's Satchidananda Swarupa. And with that logic, we can test Yan Nayena Virudhyate. So that is why we shouldn't give too much of credence or importance to all these theories of creation and all, because they are just some story told because we have so much of faith that this world is real. Therefore, to satisfy us, one story is told temporarily, and slowly we are taken from there and guided to the point where we understand that it's not really that real, and we are taught to see the reality. So, whether it is Bhagavan sat and created this world, or it evolved out of the microorganisms organisms and so on, or came from the bang and so on. Whatever theory may be, okay. All those are predicated on the fact that there is something called a creation, something called a world around us. Okay. So here the very idea of the existence of that world is moved. So there's the question of accepting this theory over that theory or that theory, that whole argument that becomes redundant. But yes, we can look at it as an internal process that is reflected in one story form, because Brahmaji represents the intellect. And so before creation, when we are in deep sleep, then slowly that Prakriti awakens, the body begins the process of waking up. Then first we open our eyes, the Mahat Tattva is born, the I thought comes, Ahankara is born, then all our experience of the world arises. Yes. And so to trace back from this, back to the world, back to the ego, behind that to who am I, who was I at that time of sleep, before the body, mind, intellect awoke, before all this and this game of ego began. That is the process of returning up. Follow those breadcrumbs. For that purpose, it is useful. So now, the story. We return to the story with this understanding that we have to see it all as a play within us. Brahmaji was told to create. He started creating. First thing he created, first first time I'm going for creation. So he had a bath and did puja and all that. And then a very good mood, and he said, I'm going to create such wonderful creatures. And he created really such wonderful creatures, four brothers. The Sanat Kumar, the first created being. Totally purely sattvic. They were like little children, 5-year old, extremely wise, great wishes. We have seen them already. Brahmaji told them, very good. Now you guys continue the work of creation. Chalo, I'll get you married and all that, and you start populating the earth. They said, what? You have got stuck in this problem. Just because you created us, just because we were born people, does it mean we have to continue it? We want to live our lives. We want to do our tapas, our meditation. Apart of Krishna Rama Govindana Porame, why are you pulling us into this family business and all that? Nothing doing. We are going for meditation. They went off. See, very first kids also did not listen to the father. So we shouldn't feel very bad if that happens. But don't use that as an example, because my son is sitting here. He is getting very excited at the idea. But when they didn't listen and they went, Brahmaji got angry. And when he got angry, the next creation he made was a red little fellow who was screaming and crying, ugly looking creature. And Brahmaji said, okay, will you at least create something? I will create. And he started creating such monstrous things, such terrible demons and snakes and scorpions and poisonous beings. And Brahmaji started getting scared that they will come and start tearing me to pieces. So he said, you stop. You are the right fellow to go and do meditation. I have kept the place for you. You go to Himalayas. Okay. That Rudra went to Himalayas to meditate. Because the right person has to be given the right job. Lord Shiva is Lord of destruction. You tell him to create, he will create destructive things. Swabhava. Okay. So he said, okay, no point being angry also. Took a deep breath, went for lunch break, then a little nap and all, came back, sat down and said, okay, this time, not extreme, not too sattvic also, not totally tamasic also. Let's try for one balance. And then he created the Prajapatis. 9 Prajapatis he created from different parts of his body. And then he created Narada also. So 10 of them. And he told them, you do the work of creation. Now they said, very good. And they started creating various beings. Very beautifully the work was going on, but not at a very great pace. Now see, one thing we see here is, some creation happening from Brahmaji's ears, from his nose, from his knees, from his lap, from his stomach, from his backside. So we wonder, what kind of strange thing is this? Is it possible? So Guruji has explained it very beautifully. Says, when you dream, and you dream that you are creating something, out of different part of your body, something comes out. Do you question the logic of it? No, because it is part of the dream. Don't look for logic there. The world is like that. Anything can happen from anywhere. And aren't there microbes, aren't there insects that sometimes come out of different parts of our body? Right? So don't worry about it too much. Remember, again, all just a story, and these are important aspects of our mind. So when we are in a sattvic mood, something sattvic is created. When we are in a rajasic mood, something rajasic is created. Tamasic mood, something tamasic is created. Yeah. And then there's the story of how he created Saraswati Devi and then felt like marrying her. How these Prajapatis all came and said, Are, she's your daughter, how can you marry her? And they slapped some sense into him, and then Brahmaji became normal. Why this story? So again, beautiful explanation Guruji gives us. Brahmaji represents the totality of this whole universe. And we see such strange things happening in this universe. Adharma is part of the world. So adharmic tendencies will manifest through mouth. One thing. But the second very beautiful point that Guruji says is, even if you're Brahma, even if you've got a guarantee from Bhagavan that Bhavan Sarga Visargeshu Navimukhyati Karhichit, you will never be deluded. But if you become too confident in your own mind and start thinking, oh, now I have overcome this desire, I am beyond Maya, I have total control over myself. I have no more vasanas. That is when that mind will be waiting to ambush. That is the right moment. You can be sure that it will take you far. So never trust your mind. That is another very, and however wonderful your creation. Remember, whatever we create is created through us, not by us. And it is for the benefit of the whole world. If we try to hug it and embrace it and make it our own, if we try to use it only for our own pleasure and our own benefit, then that is ugly, it is adharma, it is. So that those are a few ways to think about. I had to dwell on that briefly because somebody might read that story later and then wonder what all nonsense is there in Bhagavatam. So better to explain. So now moving on. This creation work was going on, but it was too slow. One, two, because at that time each one had to do meditation, build up tapobala, then with that tapobala create, then again build up tapobala. So it was a painstaking process. So now he was thinking, what can I do? How do I fix this? And as he was thinking, his body split. And one became a man, one became a woman. The first man and woman, Swayambhu Manu and Shataru. You see, Manu represents again the mind, and the mind harnessing objective knowledge of the world around, using technology, using the tools available to us. And Shatarupa means innumerable forms, innumerable possibilities. So when that intellect by itself may not be able to do so much or learn and discover so much or create so many beautiful things in the world, but when we harness the forces of nature and we work with the mind and intellect and use our technology, what all we have created. So Swayambhu Manu Shatarupa. Now he said, you both get married. Okay. Because they were a couple only. They were, and okay, got married, but where do we stay? We will have children, we'll do all that. Okay, no problem. Where do we stay? So Brahmaji said, I have arranged a beautiful place for you. Fantastic. So much water supply and forests and gardens and mountains and everything. This whole world, earth is there ready for you. Go and take it. Where? There. There's nothing there. Brahmaji said, what? He looked out from Brahmaloka and he said, the earth is gone. Missing. What is this new problem? And he was just wondering what to do. And at that moment, very strange thing happened. Something came out of his nose. It was a tiny little boar, a wild boar, that grew bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it grew so big that it became the size of Brahmaloka. And all the rishis standing there realized, oh, this is Bhagavan's avatara, this is Varaha Bhagavan. And so they started a beautiful hymn where they worship Bhagavan as a very embodiment of yajna. It's a long hymn. Let's just look at the first shloka. Jitam jitam te jita yajna bhavana trayim tanum swam paridhum te namah yadroma garteshu nilayuradharat tasmai namah karana sukarayate. Hey Ajita, oh infinite undefeatable one. May victory always be to you. May you defeat whoever has stolen away the earth. Traim Tanum, your body is the Vedas. You are Yajna Bhavana, you are born out of the Yajna spirit. And Yad Roma Garteshu Niliyur Adharaha. Every pore of your body represents a different Yajna. Your whole being is Yajna Maya. Remember Yajna here, not in terms of ritual, but the spirit of Yajna, the spirit of acting selflessly for the benefit of the whole world. That is the Yajna spirit. That embodied is Varaha Bhagavan. That's why Tasmai Namaha Karana Sukarayate. Sukara, wildborn. Karana Sukara. This is a very interesting term. Guruji examines it in detail. He says, Karana Sukara, why? It was not out of just chance of karma or chance of birth that Bhagavan became a wildborn. But he chose it for a particular reason. Why did he choose it? We had this discussion in our group. So many beautiful answers were given, right? One, of course, the Vedantic answer given is that he has come to rescue the earth, and the the sense associated with the earth's smell, and the creature that is most in love with that smell is the boar that constantly is smelling the earth, that loves the earth, that makes even the dirtiest, ugliest parts of it, the earth, the filth of the earth also, it revels in and enjoys and is very happy there. It's, you know that they are even physically incapable of looking up. Their attention is constantly down at the earth. Their necks cannot turn up. And the organ associated with smell is nose. That's why Bhagavan came from the nose of Brahmaji. And also it is a Trayitanum, no? His body is Veda. Vedas are said to be the breath of Brahma. Therefore also. And many other beautiful reasons were given. One that struck me is simple. Bhagavan came from Brahmaji's nose to show that he is the prana priya for his bhakta. And so for a particular reason, he is Karana Sukara. He has come for a reason. Another beautiful meaning of Karana Sukara, he has taken this form and he has entered this world. But don't think that he is of this world, he is part of this world. He is not a Karya, he is not an object, he is not a creation, he is the very Karana, the cause that has appeared in this form. Therefore, Karana Sukara. It may look like the Sukara, but he's actually the Jagat Karana, that Atma. So then, even while they were chanting, he didn't even bother to wait, because the urgency of saving his beloved earth, he just dived into that water and it splashed really high. And all the rishis were bathing in that water as it splashed. And he swam down, 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 down to Patala Loka. And there he saw one Rakshasa named Hiranyaksha. And that Hiranyaksha had captured the earth and kept her hostage. Now, what was going to happen? Obviously, fight, dishum, all that full special effects was there. And Bhagavan picked up that earth on his tusks, like a child blowing a balloon, bubble, Guruji, like a child blowing a bubble with chewing gum. He brought that earth up. From behind, Hiranyaksha was still attacking him. He just ignored him and took the earth up first, kept her safely there, then went back, finished off this fellow, and came out. Again, everybody was putting flowers and Krishna Rama Gunda Bhajan, everything happened very nice. Vidurji said, one doubt, one doubt, one doubt. Huh. What doubt? Where did this Hiranyaksha come from? Who is he? Who created him? Who is his mother, father? How did he manage to take the earth away? Ah, that's a story. That 9 Prajapatis I mentioned, no? That one of them was Kashyapa. Kashyapa Prajapati. He had two wives, Diti and Aditi. They were happily living together. One day, that Aditi had a lot of children. They were the Devatas, Indra and Varuna and all of them were the children of Aditi. Now this Diti, she also wanted to have children. But that desire came at the wrong time. So it was a time when the sun was setting and Kashyapa Rishi loved to sit and watch the sunset and do his Gayatri Japa and Sandhya. And it was going nice. He was in a very meditative mood. At that time, this lady said, I want to have babies. I want to have babies. I said, wait, no. No, now I want to have babies now. I said, okay, fine. She got married. No, I have to put up with all these things. Okay, right. So they had children. After that, she started feeling bad. She said, did I disturb you at a wrong time? Not have done it now. Sorry. So what to do? Sorry. What's the use of saying sorry now? You have done it. And you had children at the time when you are not supposed to have children. Now they will turn out to be terrible, destructive, demonic creatures. And they will be the enemies of other these children. And they will keep getting thrashed with them. What can I do? That is what is going to happen. It's not a curse. I'm just telling you the fact. She said, but I'm very sorry, I'm very sorry. And she started saying prayers and all to Lord Shiva. Said, okay, you have so much of devotion, you have understood your mistake, you're feeling bad. Okay, I'll give you one rule. These fellows will be whatever they are. But your grandson, one guy will be there. Your grandson will be there. And he will be the greatest bhakta of all times. He will bring glory to all asuras. He'll be greater than even the devatas. And he'll be the most beloved of God. That will be Prahlada. So the children of this Diti were Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha is the one who stole the earth. Hiranyakashipu's story we'll see in the 7th canto when Prahlada's story comes. Now, Vidurji was not satisfied. Okay, all this is fine. But is there some backstory behind this? Why should Bhagavan go and fight with them? Like, why did he not request him politely? Why did he have to go back and kill him and all that? Couldn't he have put him in jail? All these questions. What happened to not human rights, demon rights? Okay. There is a story for that also. That story, flashback even more to Vaikuntha. Bhagavan is there sleeping nicely. Lakshmi Devi is massaging his feet. Everything is going on beautifully in Vaikuntha. There's an elaborate description here in Bhagavatam, highly symbolic, rich with meaning. I highly recommend that you read it. Very beautiful meditative picture it paints of Vaikuntha. But remember, Vaikuntha is our heart. That pure heart where there is no obstruction is Vaikuntha. And who went there? The Sanat Kumaras. These beings were in total sattva. They crossed the 7 gates. Each gate represents a chakra. And they rise up through the 7 chakras. But like many yogis, they ran into it at the 7th gate. Jaya and Vijaya took guards. And they said, stop. This is one thing that happens. We progress like anything in meditation, and we think, I have conquered everything, and I have gone beyond all the senses. I have gone beyond. I live in samadhi only. That is when something called that spiritual ego gets narrowed. So, and the funny thing is, we don't even realize it. There's so many people who go around thinking that they are liberated, but when you look at their actions and all, you have to doubt it. Anyway, that's a different matter. So the guard stopped them, Jaya, Vijay. They stopped. Immediately, Sanat Kumaras got angry. They said, how dare you stop us? Anybody who comes to Vaikuntha has a free pass to go and see Bhagavan. And we are the first created. We are such great sadhus. We are so wonderful. And you are stopping us. Your job, you should have come and done namaskaram and taken us with all the respect and carried us and taken us to Bhagavan. We have come walking now, and instead of offering us Padhyam, Argyam and all that, you are blocking us and telling us we can't go. This is asuric behavior. You become asuras permanently. Get lost. Immediately those guys realized their mistake. And they fell at Sanat Kumara's feet and said, "We are sorry. We thought you were just little kids. How were we to know that you are some great Mahatmas and that? We didn't know. After we can't recognize like that, no, just because somebody is wearing orange, that not all Mahatmas are like that. Some may appear like beggars, some may appear like businessmen. You can't tell. Anybody may be. We are sorry. Please forgive us. Please forgive us. It was our mistake only. Immediately when they did that, Sanat Kumar, this is the sign of Sattva. The anger disappeared like that. And immediately they said, no. Hey, get up. We are sorry. No, it is your job. You are the guards here. It is your job to ask who is going and take the identity card and make them sign the register and all that. That you're doing your duty only. We had no business to be angry with you. It was very wrong of us. We are sorry. It was our mistake. Guards are saying, no, it was our mistake. It is our mistake. Our mistake. While they were arguing, one third voice said, hey, it is my mistake, man. All of you be quiet. They looked up and saw there was Bhagavan. And that description of Bhagavan is so beautiful, elaborately. Maze se de. One thing is there. He didn't bring Lakshmi Devi. Why? I'll tell you. He didn't bring her. Instead, he brought Garuda. And he didn't come riding on Garuda. He came walking. You know why? Because some great Bhagavatas have come, great devotees have come. Then, without chappal, also barefoot, even Bhagavan goes to receive them with that much of respect. Set an example for all. And yes, it was my mistake. No, after all, they work for me. I have not taught them properly. So whatever mistake they make, it's my fault only. And you all also, you are my children. If you do something wrong, then also their parents only get blamed. I take all the responsibility. I'm very sorry to both of you. Okay. And whatever punishment you have given, that's correct, but reduce it a little bit. Let it not be forever. Make it some 3 or 4 janmas and leave them. 3 janmas? Okay, 3 janmas. Just do me a big favor. He says, Anugraham you do to me, bring them back to me quickly at the end of that 3. And because it's my fault, no? So every one of those janmas, even I will go. Every time they take a janma, I will take one janma. And I will go and bring them back with me. Sanat Kumara said, my fault. I also did wrong. So even I will take this. So the 3 janmas of Jaya and Vijaya, first is as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, second is as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, third is as Shishupala and Dantavana. So for Hiranyaksha was Varaha Avatara, for Hiranyakashipu Narasimha Avatara, for Ravana and Kumbhakarna Rama Avatara, for Shishupala and Dantavana Krishna. And the first Sanat Kumaras went as Prahlada. The second set, they went as Vibhishana. In the third set, they said, every time we are going and then having to turn against our family members, I don't want to do that. We'll sit back and watch the show. So they didn't take Avatara, they missed out. Anyway. But, so these avatars were because of that. Okay. So now this, back to where are we? Varaha, right? You have to be very alert. The story will go in circles. The non-linear storytelling and all started at that time. It is not Christopher Nolan. Vyasa started. So, Varaha Bhagavan, that is the backstory of Hiranyakashipu. Now all the fight, everything is over. Varaha Bhagavan withdraws his form. Okay. Earth is fresh and ready, nicely cleaned and bathed. And Swayambhu Manu Shatarupa start to live there. They have 5 children. Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti. Okay. Each of them has their own meanings also. We think technology and possibilities that Priyavrata makes the world beautiful and organizes it very well. Uttanapada becomes self, puts his feet up, relaxes, and becomes self-indulgent. We see this in their characters. Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti. They represent different aspects of human endeavor. Akuti, desire, making a sankalpa. Devahuti, invoking the devatas, invoking the powers of nature, harnessing all the available resources to put an effort towards that. And Prasuti, giving birth, the fulfillment of that good sankalpa in something noble, helpful to humanity, to the world. So all the stories from here will follow this lineage of Swayambhu Manu and Swayambhu Manu's children. But before that, there is one more very important charitra in this third canto, that is the Kapila Avatara and Kapila Gita, that we'll take up in the next session. Okay. Finally, Bhagavan Varaha came. I'm very happy. Pranala Varaha wait பண்ணிட்டு வந்துட்டார். Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. गोपिका जीवन स्मरणं गोविंदा गोविंदा. हरि ओम. Thank you very much.